Hello, class. Today we're going to learn how to divide by zero. Professor. All right, what is up, my friends? Welcome to another video here on CoolStuffInc.com. I'm going to film one for you today. We're playing some Explorer, which of course is Pioneer on Arena. Name's deck is legal in Pioneer, but not every single card is legal in Explorer that isn't Pioneer. And we're playing a blue-white control deck based around the card Mindsplice Apparatus. Kind of a cool, like, big mana control deck here. 4-mana artifact with flash. But if you keep add oil counter, and then instant and sorcery spells you cast cost one less to cast for each oil counter. So this thing can make a ton of mana as the game goes on, reducing the cost of your spells by a lot. But you got to build your deck in a pretty unique way to use this card, because reducing the cost of, Supreme Verdict by 1, or Saw It Coming by 1, or Fateful Absence by 1, not that exciting. But a card like Divide by 0, which is a card that's a little too clunky for play by itself. This card costs 1 mana, and they can go get a Mascot Exhibition that costs 4 mana or whatever. That's pretty insane. So very, very powerful there. And a bunch of big spells too. Starnheim Unleashed, making a bunch of angels foretell. Alrund's Epiphany, banned in standard at some point. Time Walk, 2 tokens, it buys more time for your oil counters to go up. And then big card draw spells like Silver Scrutiny and then Sphinx's Revelation as well. And that's the kind of big haymaker you need to make the apparatus super awesome. So otherwise, a control shell here, Teferi, Verdict, Wandering Emperor. 4 Censors in the early game. We're playing Lay Down Arms, which is obviously a unique removal spell here, kind of a new one. Counts the number of planes you control, so it does make our mana base a little weird. We are playing 2 Raffine's Tower, 4 Farmland, 4 Hallowed Fountain, and 6 basic planes, more than you'd usually see in a blue-white control deck, but 1 mana Sword Plowshares is too good to pass up. So that's a deck. Start some counter spells in it. You get the idea. A couple Dream Trawlers for both aggro and then mid-range matchups. And the big one here is Temporary Lockdown also for those kind of low-to-the-ground decks. And then hopefully we can go over the top of the bigger deck. So that's the deck. But let's get right to the games, brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com.
Cool Stuff Inc. is proud to sponsor Jim Davis. We offer great deals on card games, tabletop RPGs, board games, and more. Get a free token featuring Jim Davis and take 5% off your next order if you use the code JIM5 at checkout. CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock.
Right. Oh, yes, Sphinx's Revelation. Feels good to be home. Yeah, it's pretty good. Lay Down Arms, couple planes, Emperor. Clear Water Pathway. Interesting. Field of Ruin. Sort of a blue-black control deck, I guess? Sure. So we'll play the planes. Foretell Saw It Coming and just say go. Could have just left it up, but like I doubt they're playing a useful card next turn, so can save mana on future streets. Field of Ruin, Shark Typhoon. It's a baby shark. It's like land Narset would be the worst case scenario, but sure.
I've practiced against many foes.
Pretty annoying. Sinister Sabotage. I think I just cast the Emperor. Make it 2/2, so go.
I've learned much during my travel. Guards, to me.
Island, Narset immediately. Negate. Sure. Obviously don't have black right now, but they can Fatal Push off of the Field of Ruin Swamp. They just discard Sabotage to hand size? Wow. Alright. I got a Shark here too, I suppose, but we have 5 by 0, so... Cool.
I won't forget our time together.
Alright. Let's make another Samurai, and then let's... Let me just Foretell Epiphany and just say go. I could have like a deluge here or something like that, but sure. I mean, putting those back in their hands seems kind of gas. they're just like not gonna have a really good chance to cast it. I don't want to counter. I think just divide by 0 here. Just divide this. Get a Sciences. Say go. And like now what? They have 8 cards in hand. Not even guaranteed to have a land. They're gonna foretell something. Probably a Sod coming. And now we just get to just kind of beat in and do our thing with our counter spells out, which feels pretty great. So didn't draw a land for Epiphany, but that's fine. It seems like it wouldn't resolve anyway. We can attack for a bunch. We know they have Negate. Just got Sciences. We have 3 planes. I don't got planes because they have like, I don't know, shoulders or something. I don't know, whatever. Sure. We have plenty of blue, so let me just say go here. Cycle Censor, sure. The old main phase Wandering Emperor looking to take it down here. Cycle this. Sure. Alright. Yeah, I mean, attack for 6. Obviously, they want to Fatal Push. Sure, it's fine. You know, Fatal Push that. And now we're going to resolve Rev when they resolve their Deluge. So we still go. We actually might just censor it, honestly. Yeah, because if I resolve Rev, tap out, they resolve Deluge, just censor this. We just saw it coming up. Still have a threat in play. They have no land. No land indeed. Untap. We draw Apparatus. Cool. I'm gonna make a creature here. Just gonna attack. Make a 2/2. Player on a kill spell. Let's just say go. Not going to rush here, and then getting Apparatus online is pretty good too. They want to field me maybe and get another black source? Sure. Do you want to cast Apparatus? I don't think so. We would have 4 untapped lands. Necessary. Let's crack this. Get a plains. And I mean, like, they've got a bajillion cards, but alright, make some land drops. They have a Ritual of Soot. Sure. Annoying, but fine. I'm not going to counter that. If I had lethal, I would consider countering it, but I do not, so. Interesting spot here because they're tapping out. I think I want to counter this. And then sorry, I'm good. Counter this, untap with Mindsplice. We can time walk and just start going nuts. Yeah, let's do that. So counter the gate. Resolve Apparatus. Okay, can't do both, but we're getting there. Make it 2/2. Epiphany.
Let your blade do the talking.
Next counter. Draw. Pump.
We've got the edge in this fight.
We could rev and draw a bunch of cards here, or just resolve Teferi. Yeah, just resolve Teferi.
From the, you know what?
Sure. Good enough. Cool. Alright, that's pretty sweet. So, blue-black control. We're going to bring in Starnheim, Stroke, Negate, Dispute. Maybe Trawler. Let's see what we're cutting. I'll cut off 4 late on arms. Divide by 0 is very good against Shark tokens, which is good. These verdicts can go also. Trawler doesn't need to be in here. Trawler getting hit by Dispute's pretty bad, so I think this is good. A couple Fatefuls, in case they have a Planeswalker or like a Shield or whatever. A few more threats. Few more counter spells. Seems good. Right. Ugh, 2 landers. Killing us. Oh, we can't keep this. Even on a draw. I mean, we need to draw a land, and then that land could divide by 0 and get us another land maybe, but like it's just so slow. I don't have any white anyway. I'm sending a mulligan. Sure, let's keep this. Alright, so ship planes, because our swords are out now, so alright, I mean hand's not good, but what are you gonna do? Could have Thoughtseize or stuff post board too, so hurts the mulligan even more, but you know, can't keep that hand, so we got our apparatus. We resolve the apparatus, so it shouldn't be easy for them to remove it. Let the draw go, games begin. Pretty happy here, because like obviously we play apparatus, I kind of have to counter it. We have 2 of them anyways, which is fine, so end step, memory deluge. Now the question here is, if I want to just like resolve apparatus, what can they do to me that's like terrible next turn? I have Otawara and divide by 0. I'm gonna let this resolve and just like play apparatus. Let's see what they do. Honestly, like if it was 6 mana and they could play a Shark Typhoon to punish us, even then we should have divide by 0 in our hand. So like, I don't think we're that scared of anything. And it is fairly hard for them to remove this. So Foretell. All right. We're off to the oily races. Let's shock this in and say go. Second apparatus, not nearly as useful as the first, but cycle Censor, sure. I mean, divide by 0 plays here. Obviously, we need to. So this is the uncounterable. I lose my everythings, but we can do something here for a turn. We need to go get Mascot Exhibition, and then we can cast it for 5. So we're gonna lose everything, but we have stuff in play and cards to draw. We also have the Hall too, so they distortion us here on my cycle and draw a land attack for a bunch. Fling Dust, sure. Divide by 0 has its place, honestly. It's kind of cool. You know, it's not like the best card, but it does have a lot of pretty cool uses and stuff. And then as long as you're building towards something, which it does pretty well with the apparatus, obviously, it's pretty cool. So, all right, bring it on. Distortion me. If you don't cast it now, when are you gonna cast it? You know, we negate also. So. Looks like they're not going to cast it. They don't want to just die. Cool. Cycle Censor. Wow. They're going to Baleful Mastery, letting me draw a card. That is something. Alright. Yeah, they can push the Hall, so let's act here. Gonna cast a Teferi. I mean, like, we're gonna lose our hand next turn anyway, so play it, try and defend it, untap some lands, maybe. Alright, negate. They have 2 mana up. We'll dispute. Obviously, want to trade all our cards away before they cast Distortion, so. Okay. Nice little stack there, courtesy of Mindsplice Apparatus.
Let's slow this. We need to move quickly.
Sure. I mean, obviously they go for Distortion here, we're gonna lose our hand, but whatever, you know. Narset, Parter of Veils. That is very annoying. We can attack it, obviously. I'm going to dispute this. Make them tap their mana.
Those who cannot perceive long keep an open mind.
They find their own mystical dispute and attack Enuma. Alright, we draw a Fateful Absence. It's not bad, actually. Don't draw up Teferi yet. Do this. Alright, cool.
I shall miss your
Draw a
company.
Teferi.
No time for a break.
Alright, I mean... Divide by 0 on Thought Distortion was actually just freaking backbreaking. They just don't have time to cast it anymore. That's super sweet. And the strong bird and the email. Cling to dust. Sure. Cling away. Something smells. It's desperation. 1 mana divide by 0.
We need to move quickly.
Alright. 3. We can just fire up the hall, honestly, and just defend it with the divide by 0 and just kill them, I think, right? Because they gotta push and then pay the ward. They're gonna make a 1/1 baby shark. Let's kill that. Do 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 do. That was a cool match. I'm not gonna lie. That was divide by 0. Putting on a clinic there. That was pretty sweet. Right. Whew. Check that hand out. This is a pretty ambitious keep here, I think. You can't really keep this one. None of our cards do much. Need to draw some of the low-end stuff. Give me 1 lay on arms over an Epiphany here, and I snap keep this. But mulligans too. We still just can't keep this. So we have like tap land, shock foretell, tap land foretell. We're just doing literally nothing. Yeah, we just can't keep this hand, unfortunately. Alright, sure, that's better. Of course, the one downside is we have no planes, which is super awkward. We just drew all of our starter beaches, but still gonna keep. Can't go to 5 here. Forest. Oh god. Oh, draw planes, please. No. Prairie Stream. It's one of the cards. It's in Pioneer, not yet in Explorer yet. There we go. All right. Just play this. We'll just nuke this Llanowar Elves. Pretty far from being able to hit this yet, so we can chill a little bit. Gotta take some bops from the old growth troll here, unfortunately, but Wolf Willow Haven. Alright. So planes or spells are good here. We draw Censor. Could be worse. Play beach, there you go. 2 cards left? 3 cards left? I mean, as long as I don't die of a troll, I think we're in fine shape here. They got 4 mana. That's odd. Alright, censor that. We have flex spot for the devotion deck. Draw their planes. Alright, so now we're 1 planes away. We can also just Otawara this too, so. Mismatched forests. Just an absolute lack of class. 2 cards left. What do you got? I think if it's nothing here, we're going to Otawara the old growth troll. Yeah, nope, never mind. Just kidding. Cancel that Cavalier of Thorns. Draw planes. Ah, cool. I was drawing a spell is better, but still pretty good. Swords Plowshares is online. We got Otawara. Just need some spells here now. Hopeful Haven, sure. Which is supposed to have Boomerang. Alright. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Bye 0, and then we can go get the card draw spell or Mascot Exhibition. They're on a festival. No, they're not. That goes back to their hand, and I mean, Mascot can pressure Planeswalkers. Teachings, I can't actually draw if I draw a spell. Yeah, I'm going to just get the Mascot. Draw Censor. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to cast this then. Because we're going to cast this again. We can censor it, so I'll still play Otawara, though. Play this and just say go. Draw land here. Obviously makes Censor worthless, but alright, let's cycle this. And draw Sphinx's Revelation. This can be a draw 3 right now. That's pretty passable, I think. So I got punished there. They hit 2 Cavalier of Thorns. Okay. And they find the Nykthos. Alright, well, they're doing their thing now. And a Forest, sure. Bunch of cards in the bin. We're also at 8 life, which is not ideal. And then Nykthos can currently tap for 8. Not quite 10 per festival. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's draw 3. Scrutiny, Rev, Emperor. Fateful Absence. I mean, if I kill a Cavalier, they put any card they want on top. Yeah, I can kill the Oddity and then Emperor the Cavalier on attacks. Suppose I could do that. This is not ideal. Alright. Let's just say... If you say go, they get more Nykthos mana, so let's kill this now. Yeah. Alright. Cavalier and a Kiora. Okay, that's not good. Yeah. From nothing to something here. And they can untap the Nykthos, make much more mana, which I'm not sure why they didn't do that before they attacked, honestly, but I will take this exchange. Down to 4, and maybe a puncher's chance here. Lands are heinously ugly. Alright, untap Nykthos. And they drew Karn too. Yeah, I mean that's basically everything, so I guess they got us. Yeah. Alright, we'll go next game. You got me. So yeah, picked it up pretty good there from the old Storm the Festival. I guess that's some beats on our side. We're gonna bring in our D8 and our strokes. And honestly just a dispute. Counters Cure for 1, or just counters or spells. I think Starnheim's isn't crazy either. I would say I think Planeswalker is kind of important too. Honestly, like a lot of our cards are just kind of good. Is the Emperor? Ugh. Is Starnheim good? Like, it's funny. I don't even think Verdict is that good. Like a lot of their creatures just they have effects when they die, so not exiling is a big deal. And we're gonna be aggressively killing their elves anyway. I'll just get rid of these. Get rid of these. Again, Fateful Absence killing Planeswalkers seems kind of relevant. Not that it's a card I'm looking forward to casting, like, at all, basically. I just cut these, actually. Let's try this. Right, let's try it again. Try it again. Tough game there. That one Storm the Festival just turned into literally everything. Without that, you know, they didn't draw a land, they played a Censor, if I had a counterspell, yada yada yada. But alright, 2 lands. Ugh. Alright, we're gonna mulligan. Just can't keep a 2-lander in the play. Alright, sure. Keep this. Obviously, this would be a great 7-card end because I want to keep the lands, the X spell, and the 2 interactive spells. I'm just gonna dump this though. We have a lot of big stuff in our deck, so I'm not really worried about the not being able to play big stuff. So play Farmland. Play an Elf who swords it. Yep. Okay. Elf number 2, sure. Censor number 2. And it's, you know, not great. It's fine. Could be better. Alright. Not ideal.
And you look like lunch.
Okay, so I'm just gonna Emperor the Alpha, I think. Let's see what we draw here, but 5/0. Alright, yeah. Let's do that.
I'm home.
Don't love resolve Planeswalkers, that's for sure.
You're not much of a roadblock.
Hopefully no land here.
I love to make a splash.
Or Nykthos, sure, whatever. No land or best land. Alright, here's Cavalier. Here's Hydra. Draw on other planes. Okay, cool. Alright, let's make a token. Pretty non-ideal sequence so far, but you know, it's okay. Really want to bounce that, so just let it go through. They're not in crazy mana world yet, so could bounce the Kiora because they haven't used it yet. I think I actually like that. Let's bounce Kiora. This way they can't draw a card off of it. They can't use it to untap. They can recast it, but then like can't do anything else. Let's get teachings. Alright. Apparatus is not bad. Better at casting teachings, I guess? Yeah, I suppose. So go. Unfortunately, we're taking a huge hit here, but that's pretty bad. Alright. I should have pre-combated that one. I guess they were wanting me to tap out for Emperor, I guess, or something. Let's get on tap. Nick those. Cast Festival again, and we have basically no chance to win. Alright, so they're going to plus not on a land, because they're just playing around a Wrath effect.
The ocean surges, life thrives.
I'm going to draw off the bonnet. Sure, I guess, whatever. Like, did I not block? Why not block? Let's block. And Beseju also. Cool. Oh, sure. Yes, no, maybe yes. Draw off this thing. We draw swords to plowshares. That's actually not the worst. Alright, so land, swords this. Play Archaics. Draw 3. I mean, that wasn't bad as far as it all goes.
My judgment is final. Do not test me.
Still in horrible shape, though, with the festival and the Nissa in play.
Nature flows with vigor.
Yep. Elf Oddity? Alright. And the cards in our hand are basically worthless because we have nothing else to do with them.
The land shall
I'm gonna make this again. Heh. Other creatures you control trample. Alright, that's pretty cool. Alright, we'll give him that. That was pretty sweet. We'll allow that. Alright, so it beats. I mean, obviously our hands could have been a little better there, but them's the breaks. Alright. Let's do some math. Count up those oil counters. Bloop. Alright, let's rock and roll. On the draw, 2 lands. A little sketchy. We never a Mool Spell, a Foretell card. Got some clunkers here too, though. On the play, we could never keep this. On the draw, it's still pretty risky, honestly. We should probably just mulligan this hand. We just really can't afford to miss land drops here. But his hand needs to draw effectively 2 lands in a row to be playable, so I'll mulligan this into a fine hand. This is fine. Let's do this, and let's dump the... I think money's divided by zeros, I think. So we got our card draw spell, early counter spell, and then our kind of an interactive spell, and also draw some cards. Irrigated Farmland. Ooh, not going anywhere for a while. All right, strap in, folks. Might be a long one. All right, yep, it's gonna be a long one. All right, well, here we go. And Farmland, sure. Not gonna foretell because I want to have Censor up. Just casting cancels fine too. All right, and we're gonna be piping in for the long haul here. And they're going to miss a land drop. Wow. First rule of a control mirror. Never miss a land drop. It's simple as that. Untap and draw land. And we can saw it coming here. We have no impetus to want to do actual anything. Because if they're missing land drops, every card in the deck is reactive. So they have nothing to do, and they'll discard the hand size, which is a huge win. So yeah, this is like rule number 1 of a control mirror. You just never miss a land drop. They obviously didn't know it was a control mirror, so... They'll discard temporary lockdown, which is also big in the control mirror as far as like both players just sitting and not being able to do anything. And we are literally not going to do anything until they actually play a 4th land. Because we'll sit here about the discarded hand size. If I cast end step Silver Scrutiny, they can just counter it, not discard a hand size. If I don't do anything, they discard a hand size. We're in no rush. We have plenty of lands to play here too, so Discarding Verdict. Now, they are just discarding cards that aren't actually useful, obviously. Supreme Verdict, temporary lockdown, but still. In no real rush here. Pass again. Wow. Now, this time, we don't actually have a land. So, if I play this Scrutiny, though, it is 100% going to get countered, though. So, I think we might just cycle Censor, even though it's like kind of a hard counterspell at the moment. Making land drops is more important, but I don't want to just cast Scrutiny and get it countered. So, let's cycle this. Cycle Censor, draw land. Perfect. I think you're like, this might seem like, oh, your opponent's mana screwed. Why are you playing so carefully? This game's not going to end for a long time, which is a very important factor in control mirrors, where the game takes a long time to end. So if you mess these early turns up and you bleed away resources, that can come back to bite you because you're going to play a million more turns anyway. So they play a land, finally. They play land number 4. We're shooting nothing again. We draw a late on arms. We'll play this Hallowed Fountain 5/3/1. Let's play this untapped. So the ability to cast Scrutiny and then divide by 0 also. And we'll say go. And they play that. Alright, so they had a few lands in a row here. I'm going to cast End Step Scrutiny. And then if they try and counter it, I'm going to divide by 0 back to my end. So, Scrutiny, X equals 3. And now, they play a counter spell here. And I can bounce the Scrutiny back to my hand with the divide by 0. And if they counter that too, then all resolves Teferi. So, those, so perfect. So, we're going to divide by 0. This is an important trick though. We're going to bounce our own spell. We are not going to bounce the divide by veto because we want to, they obviously cast it again. But I want to get the value here of being able to get my spell back, as well as resolve my divide by 0 and draw a card off that. And then we waste their veto also. Used to do this in standard with the card remand. It's just classic 2-for-1. And it's a big tempo loss, but tempo is not important in this current situation. So, do they want to try and... they do have a Hall of Storm Giants to try and attack my Teferi. So they need to be aware of that. But they can't... They're still mana off. They still need 2 more lands. So, do they want to try and counter the Scrutiny again? Obviously, trading 2 for 2 is fine. Sure, make Spear, sure. Counter that, counter this, untap, play Teferi with a counter spell. And we are a little low on resources here. Obviously, these late on arms aren't doing much. Draw a Teferi. Draw Otawara. I mean, we probably want to cycle this farmland. Like, we're about to untap 2 lands anyway. Otawara also. I'm just going to play this. I know it's kind of weird to have a bajillion lands in our hand. But we want to have mana to activate Hall, do multiple things, saw it coming, we can channel this, etc., etc. So, alright, so just going to stick up. We're on tap and draw. Sphinx's Rev, awesome. Teferi lived again, awesome, so that's huge. Yeah, I think we're just in pretty nice shape here. Just going to say go. We lose 2 mana off of our untap from Teferi, but whatever. We're going to play a Memory Deluge. So now we need to ask ourselves. And this is in response. This is a mistake from our opponent here. They should let the Teferi trigger resolve and then cast Deluge. Honestly, we should float 2 mana anyway. Because now we can take this mana back from this. I'm going to play Sphinx's Rev. I'm going to cast it for enough where I can resolve it with the Sod coming. The only caveat here is if they have another Dovin's veto, which would suck, but if they have it, they have it. So 3, 4, 5. X is 5. Leaving open 2 mana for Saw coming. Alright, they have the veto, so pretty annoying, but sure. So they veto. And now you decide if I want to saw it coming the Memory Deluge or not. I don't believe I do. So they can draw their 2 cards, whatever. We have Teferi in play. The counterspell to defend it. Otawara also. I guess now they have... oh wait, did I punt? I'm going to screw it up actually. Because now they have the Otawara. I mean the Hall of Storm Giants to attack with. That's true, I guess. So they fire up the Hall here instead of attack Teferi. Yeah, I screwed up. Okay. Yeah, I punted. I guess there was no way, one way or another here. I guess that makes casting the Rev wrong. So I need to leave Matt up to block this, which is kind of a punt. But, yeah, you got me. That's pretty crappy, but sure. Losing Teferi here is a pretty big loss. We have our own hall, and we are way ahead on lands, but
Let me know if you're up.
draw Mindsplice Apparatus. I mean, this is fine, I guess. These aren't very good, but Apparatus for 4. Yeah, I guess we'll just resolve this now and just say go. Again, our hand's pretty bad, unfortunately. That's what I was saying. The game's gonna go a really, really long time, and you still gotta play well, even though your opponent's mana screwed for a little bit there. So we kind of threw away our Teferi, trying to resolve that Rev, and walked into the Dovin's Veto. So need to play careful because the games go long. We have Apparatus in play, but don't really have much else going on. We draw a second Hall of the Storm Giants, which is pretty good, I guess. And then we're just gonna say go here, and they get to Deluge, and then we're gonna counter a Deluge because that's just too many cards, I think. But now we are very behind. They already have 5 cards in hand, also, so they cast Deluge here. I counter it. They have a Wandering Emperor, sure. It's also bad.
Feel the energy of battle, then guide.
All right, so make a token.
Guards, to me.
Honestly, I'm surprised they would do that instead of just casting the Deluge. More mana efficient, but yeah, Field of Ruin too, man. All right.
Remember your training.
We're just gonna Otawara this. Field certainly complicates things as far as our halls go. Untap and tick up Apparatus. Yeah, all right. That's not good. I guess you could just like force the action on the Field of Ruin. Sure. Alright, so, yep. Then we got ourselves a Lando. And, yeah, definitely not in the best shape here. Obviously, their hand might also be this ugly, but because in game 1 they're all out dead cards and stuff. But yeah, despite them moving to discard 3 times, obviously you don't really close the game. I'm gonna counter this. It's just too good. Just dig through time is just too much, I think. It's our last real card, but the hope is that their hand is just like verdict, you know, whatever, Fateful Absence. So another Field of Ruin. Jeez.
May your
All right.
strike true.
They're going to pop in with the old Hall here. Lack of Field of Ruin might be an issue in our deck, honestly. Might want 1 or 2 of those. So, we have the issue here, of course, of... we have the Apparatus in play, but nothing to do with it yet. Because they have counter spells, they can counter our big spells. So, this is not really an ideal scenario for us, but we'll see what we can do. After Sideboard, things should get a little better for us. They're in a Bantress. Bottom. All right. Thank heaven for small favors.
Keep watch for intruders.
5 cards in hand. Absorb the Emperor. Sure. Oh my god. Alright. This is where our lay down arms mana base hurts us for sure. Because we're playing so many planes, we can't play as many utility lands as they're playing, and their utility lands are kind of going to get us here in the mid game. That's the late game, I guess, but... So... Bottom again. Yeah, there isn't really a card we can draw, honestly. Here, they can beat a counterspell, so we just draw like runner, good spells. All of our cards... That's all 4 of them. All of our cards are extremely cheap, but we just have 1,000 mana anyway, so this is definitely not a great scenario for us. I guess drawing all 4 lay down arms, some good complaint equity, but we're about to pack it up and go to game 2 here. Just never gonna win this game, obviously. Top, that should probably do it. Resolve its Teferi here. We'll go to game 2. Obviously, after Sideboard, we get a lot more useful cards, so. Foretell. Raffine's Tower. Cycle. I mean, literally never resolving, but and if it does, we just kill it with the. Honestly, it might even just like should have let it resolve and then just kill it with the Hall. Sure. Honestly, I think that was really good for us because it didn't matter. They could just killed it with the Hall freely, and instead they used a counterspell on it. So now if I draw Sphinx's Raven, they're out of counterspells, something like that, that could be a possible avenue. We obviously don't know what this is. Could be Sod Coming, Doomscar, or the card draw spell, Behold the Multiverse.
We've got the edge in this fight.
I mean, it's obviously good if it resolves. I mean, it's cheap enough where we can try and double spell on a turn. I'm just gonna fire this up. But we could activate it again. Actually, no, we can't. Never mind. It's like that. So, all right. We got one basic left, and we'll say go. And maybe we can work out some sort of a, draw a good spell, cast a bunch of spells in a turn kind of turn. Or an ATM, you take a few hits from the Hall. Tap out for Hall also lessens our ability to do stuff. They're not doing anything, which is bad for us. This wasn't a Multiverse. It's probably the counter spell. All right. I mean, I'm going to say go again. Pretty sure that Foretell card is Sod Coming. I mean, it could be Doomscar, I guess, but it would not make sense to be any other card. If they had Starnheim, they would have cast it. If they had the Alrund, they would have cast it. And if they had Behold the Multiverse, they would have cast it. So, I should have cast this. Oops. Okay.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
I'll wait another turn. Oh, that makes it worse. Oh, we're back it up. Alright, you got me. Alright, so obviously pretty tough game there. The cards didn't really line up in our favor. We bring in Dispute, Negate, Stroke, Starnheim, and we cut the Supreme Verdicts, and we cut the Laydown Harms. Absence is fine, and everything else here is fine too. Dream Trawler is kind of interesting. It's obviously not like good, but it's just better than Fateful Absence is fine, I guess. This is fine. I'm pretty happy with this. We have more counter spells now. We can actually play a bit of a game. Obviously, again, our mana base and our deck construction puts us as somewhat of an underdog because they just have like Dovin's Vetoes, utility lands, and like we built our deck in a manner to be more powerful in other areas. But in like a true control mirror, I think our deck is a little bit worse. So, names the break sometimes. Let's go. All right, on the plot. Sure. I'm reasonably pleased with this hand. Yeah, Dovin's Veto's nasty. Alright. Foretell. So you go. And sit back and relax. They have the Hall, so then we can afford to not pay 2 life here. Yep, so playing the waiting game. So we're going to hit all your land drops, which they're doing much better this game, obviously. We draw Teferi and don't draw land. Alright, well, the problem, of course, comes next turn if we don't draw land. Then we lose the land drop war. Yeah, alright, well, there it is. We're going to say go. Alright, that pause there. Another land. Jeez. Alright, that's good. With your land, sure. Keep making those land drops. 8 turns, each player not doing a thing. End step Hullbreaker Har. That's also a card that's very good in control mirror that we don't have access to. We just can't win, folks. I'm sorry to say. Fortunately, the way this deck is built, it is you know, definitely looks to be better in other matchups, but in the pure control mirror here, we are just a massive underdog, given the construction of our deck. Obviously, the deck could be tuned up and be improved upon, but yeah. We actually just can't beat this card. I guess they play it and we like are able to kill it when they tap out Forge. But it's pretty tough. Alright, play land. If I were to Teachings, we would draw a card. We can divide by 0 again on the Hullbreaker Horror. Sure, let's guess this. Patrick. Come on, friend. Timeout. We're going to syncopate my teachings of the Archaics. I kind of want this to resolve, honestly, because yeah, I'm just gonna fight back. I have 2 mana up. It's a pretty efficient Mystical Dispute. I think drawing 2 is pretty good here, honestly. You still divide by 0 up for the horror. But if they want to fight back again, sure. Our dispute's obviously going dead as the game goes on because they have a bajillion mana now. So Mindsplice. All right. Again, I think we still just can't beat the Hullbreaker Horror, unfortunately. Censor. Let's just say go, I guess. Get Sciences. Card Mystical Disputes obviously for against Apparatus too. I could have maybe cast this on my end step while they only have 1 mana up. Probably would have been better, honestly, but sure. Still a mana up for Hullbreaker Horror too. Yeah, we're not in very good shape. Apparatus again. Alright. But I said, what about Dovin's veto? No. Just like, unfortunately, we just brought a knife to a gunfight as far as the matchup goes because they have so many cards that are just knockout blows against us we just have no answer to at all. So that's deck building though, honestly. When you build a deck that's a newer version or something, you gotta make sure you're available to fight on all the axis. And we currently don't have this axis handled right now at all. So
Let your blade do the talking.
she got an island, whatever. Game's just over. It doesn't actually matter. So we can't beat the Hullbreaker Horror regardless. So just don't have the tools here. Yeah, we're just backing up. All right, so just don't have the tools. The way it's like currently constructed, we need to be reworked to beat a control mirror for sure. All right, so is there something cool here? Absolutely. Does it need to be tuned? Yeah, I think so. Obviously, that mono green matchup, we kind of just mulliganed both games and didn't really draw that well. But that control matchup was pretty bad there, and that last match against blue-white control just didn't have the tools to really compete, honestly. You know, Sphinx Revelation is a powerful card, but it is very weak to counter spells. And honestly, a lot of the cards in our deck are just weak to counter spells in general. Alrund Epiphany, Sphinx Revelation, Silver Scrutiny, all pretty rough against counter spells. And then Mindsplice Apparatus also, just getting hit by a Mystical Dispute and things like that. So need a better plan for control mirrors. But there's a lot of cool stuff happening here. Didn't see any aggro decks or anything, unfortunately, but temporary lockdown's really, really good there. And deck's just kind of sweet, honestly. Just playing big spells. Pretty fun. Obviously playable on Pioneer also. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how we can improve this deck. And that's it for me. I'm out this week. Thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate it. As always, Jim Davis here on CoolStuffInc.com. Check out the article that goes along with this video on CoolStuffInc.com proper. And while you're there, do some shopping. Promo code Jim5 5% off your order, CoolStuffInc.com. All right, folks, have a good one. I'll see you next week.